Good evening, dear audience. The saga of Diep and James has carried us through fields of sunlight and corridors of glass towers, through laughter in a kitchen and silence that masked unbearable weight. Tonight, the question before us is sharp and unforgiving. When enemies strike at the heart, can love withstand the siege? The calm before the strike. At dawn, the farm seemed to breathe like a sleeping chest. Mist clung to the earth, droplets soaking the hem of denim as Diep bent over the basil, then the tomatoes. Each breath carried a silence so pure she could hear her own pulse. James appeared in that tender light, sleeves rolled, hands buried in his pockets, 2 paper cups of tea balanced like offerings. Before we fight a man, he said with a smile, we share a drink. His eyes swept across the hand-painted planks, the scarecrow with its frayed scarf, the stubborn green rose that bent but did not break. You've built a little republic here, he said. We've built it, she corrected, slipping him a cherry tomato like a vote cast in trust. They spoke of neighbors, of produce, of paying fair and paying on time. Then he kissed her forehead and left for the city, the elevators, the glass, the decisions that felt heavier than steel beams. She watched the dust trail fade. Morning had promised peace. By noon, that promise was gone. The first rumors, the first message arrived as she rinsed dishes. 7 words from an unknown number. Stay away from James if you want peace. No punctuation, no name. She read it 3 times, then deleted it, but threats rarely travel alone. An hour later came the second, a link, a blurred photo of James stepping from a taxi beside a younger client, framed from an angle meant to wound. The caption cut like a smirk. Seal 2 rooms, boardroom and bedroom. She set the phone down. The kettle hissed as if warning of a storm. That night, James returned to a table laid with quiet strength. She recited the facts, her tone clinical, steady. He listened without interrupting, then squeezed her hand. I won't play their game, he said. This is a pattern, fabricated stories, doctored contracts, now threats. None of it is an accident. Then we don't react, she replied. No, he said, eyes sharp. We respond. A shield of words. By dawn, the legal team was already in place. Shirt sleeves rolled, voices calm, like a choir tuning before the first note. They mapped the messages, traced the rumors spreading like weeds across social media, each echo suspiciously identical. A fingerprint of manipulation. Together, they forged a 3-layered shield, an internal memo, clear, factual, rooting out fear at its source. A partner communique, reassurance on contracts, deliveries, and payment. A public statement, measured, transparent, promising legal action if required. Each sentence hammered into place like steel plating, yet outside the farm, shadows gathered. A truck lingered too long by the gate. A man asked too many questions while feigning interest in honey. Roses arrived with a cruel card, for the woman who deserves better. She brushed away the petals and went back to pruning. The dog stared at the road, ears pricked, but did not bark. The journalist who came too close. On Tuesday evening, a man with a press badge found her by the greenhouse. His words dripped sympathy, but each was barbed. He implied she was a shield, a story borrowed by James to soften a brand. He snapped a photo without asking. "Delete it," she said. He ignored her. "Delete it," a voice echoed from behind. James stood there, silent, unmoving, a wall of presence. The journalist faltered, muttered something about deadlines, and slunk away. Minutes later, fake accounts burst alive with new cropped photos, twisted to tell lies of things that never happened. That night, they boiled water for tea, letting silence speak first. Then, softly, she said the words that steadied them both. "I don't believe the rumors. I believe how you show up every day." James closed his eyes. Armor comes in many forms. This sentence fit him like steel. Sabotage in the ledger. The attacks shifted toward money. A distributor placed a large order, then cancelled at the last second, citing phantom concerns about quality. Trucks idled, stock risked spoiling, cash flow tightened like a noose. Cameras appeared near the loading bays, prying through fences. The trap was designed for panic. James refused to oblige. At 7 a.m., he convened a war room meeting. Logistics split orders into smaller retail channels and direct-to-consumer weekend sales. Finance renegotiated short-term terms with loyal suppliers. Marketing launched Cook With Us from the Farm, a live stream event rooted in recipes, calm in the face of chaos. Meanwhile, the legal team hunted for digital fingerprints. They found them, in metadata, in typos betraying fake contracts, in email headers that whispered names of the careless. Transparency as a weapon. On Friday, James issued an invitation, a public forum, live-streamed at dawn Saturday, open to all questions. No spin, no theatrics, just sunlight. At 4 a.m., the cameras blinked red. James sat at a plain table, water glass at his side. Anna monitored the questions. Viewers climbed from hundreds to thousands. Allies, skeptics, bots pretending to be both. James spoke slowly, not to perform but to be understood. He explained the market sabotage in layman's terms. He showed warehouse footage with timestamps, posted audits online for all to see. He neither blamed nor begged. He simply opened the door and let truth walk in. Midway through, a viewer asked, "Can we hear from the farmers?" The plan had been to play a polished testimonial. Instead, reality appeared at the fence line. Too Deep, hair tied back, holding a basket of herbs, spoke with unvarnished grace. "I'm not a spokesperson," she smiled. "I'm someone who promised our neighbors that if they brought their harvest here, we'd find buyers and pay on time. And so far, we have." She held up a jar of chili jam made from ugly tomatoes that would otherwise be wasted. Turns out the imperfect ones taste the same. The chat exploded with hearts and nods typed across the world. Back in the office, the legal team revealed pieces of the anonymous USB delivered hours earlier, leaked coordination logs, payment trails, half-finished invoices. Enough to show design without derailing investigations. The message was clear: we will not crush you. We will stand tall. And sometimes, that posture is far more frightening. The tide turns. As the stream closed, supermarket chains reached out with offers. Direct consumer orders doubled, then tripled, clearing inventory. The dog at the farm barked, for the first time all week, at nothing more than a drifting leaf. 2 days later, a weary man walked into the county office. He confessed to being hired for part of the smear campaign. He named an intermediary. He surrendered an old phone linking dots that had long begged to be connected. The case shifted from shadows to forecast. That night, James drove home. Too Deep was on the porch under a blanket, 2 glasses glowing like twin moons on a tray. "Thank you for not leaving when the ground shook," he said. "I learned to pour tea on a moving bus," she teased. "I can manage this." They laughed, a sound that loosened the bones. The rhythm of tomorrow. Yes, there would be contracts to unwind, community meetings to attend, new faces behind old enemies. But the rhythm had been set: transparency, law, community, care. Before they went inside, she handed him the card once sent with roses. On the back, she had scribbled a grocery list: eggs, rice, lemons. Proof that even threats could be repurposed into scrap. The next morning, the warehouse team packed boxes with steadier hands. The communications team issued one final clear, drama-free update. Legal thanked platforms for removing coordinated lies. Lessons were logged. Verify sources, archive rumors, never let anger steer. By midday, James received an email with no subject, no text, only a PDF titled, "Your Agreement." He didn't open it. He called legal first. Then he called Too Deep. "Another wave?" she asked. Maybe, he replied. Or maybe just a ripple. She laughed, clear as glass. Then we do what we always do. Tea first, truth after. He closed his eyes, picturing the farm, the mist rising, the herbs breathing, promises sealed not in slogans but in practice. Outside his window, the city reflected a square of sky. He stood tall, because sometimes the bravest act is not to charge, but to remain unshaken. To hold the door open for the next honest dawn.